So welcome to the Veterans Resiliency Holistic Clinic. It is December the 23rd, 2020. Tomorrow is Christmas Eve, and we are at the end of one of the most challenging years in the history of our country. And we are all here. So we have for our first presenter today, Miss Elaine Goodall, who is a yoga instructor for the Veterans Resiliency Holistic Clinic, and she's a yoga instructor for Veterans Yoga Project in Richmond and around the country.
Correct.
So I am going to introduce Elaine, and Elaine, I'm turning it over to you.
Great. Thank you, Karen. Really nice to be here and to see everybody again. And I'll also just add that we hope to have a program maybe in the spring at McGuire Hospital, probably online, but it will be, Veterans Yoga Project will be working with the VIP Center, which is not very important person centers, but it's their integrative pain center, which is really exciting. And so clients come and they commit to a year and they get lots of different modalities. And they take their attendance at yoga very seriously. And we know from documenting pre and post pain and distress scales with yoga that it's a very, very valuable tool for stress reduction and neural regulation. So if this is your first time with us, I know you're not here at the moment, but maybe you'll watch the video later. I'm happy that you're going to give yoga a try, or if you're an experienced yogi, again, welcome back. So today I labeled this holiday essentials, and there's probably a long list of that, but I think the three key things are, number one, at this particular time in history, self-compassion, because we're just getting, we're just getting hit from all sides, and we bring our own personal stories into our lives anyway. Obviously, COVID is still going on, but we have a light at the end of the tunnel by hopefully spring or even earlier for some of you to get a vaccine. And obviously we have the whole political situation, the social justice issues, so it's just been relentless. So please take care of yourselves. A lot of compassion, no judgment, lots of love, because you really will find it more difficult to be compassionate to other people if you can't be compassionate for yourself. So it really starts with you. And my second essential is gratitude. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. And it can be for something huge, like you didn't get COVID this year, or someone special didn't get COVID, or your child was able to get a Chromebook so they can be in school. Or I got a wonderful Christmas card the other day in the mail from a dear friend. And my neighbors brought me chocolate chip cookies, my favorite. So it can be something big and huge, but can also be something small. And we can think about things that we're grateful for, but it's even more powerful if we voice it, if we say it out loud. And Karen has talked about, even I have talked about this whole vagal nerve and its influence on your voice and your throat. So saying something out loud reinforces it. And especially if you write it down, if you want to start journaling, the things that you're grateful for each day can be a really, really powerful thing to do. Maybe before you go to bed, it's a nice calming activity you can do to help you sleep a little bit better. And my third essential would be to befriend your breath. And of course, everyone knows that's a big part of yoga, your breath. It's always with you. And it's the easiest thing you can do to start to deregulate or re-regulate your nervous system, to try to find some balance, or what we call homeostasis. All kinds of wonderful things happen in the brain when you not only are grateful, but when you start using your breath. as a tool to calm the system down. So with those three things, let's go ahead and start with our kind of a centering breath, as we always do. So find a comfortable sitting position. I'm going to start sitting where I am right now, and then we're going to move later in a few minutes to some standing poses, or asanas. They're called in yoga asanas. And then we'll get on the floor, and I'd like to finish up maybe the last 20 minutes doing some restorative positions. So for that, you'll need maybe a block or two if you have them, or a towel, like a bath towel for support. And if you don't, no worries, because I'm going to give you lots of different options. Or even I finally, after 20 years of yoga, bought one of those fancy wedges. So if you have a wedge, that'll work too. But let's start in our vertical spine position. Really important for your breath work not to be lying down necessarily, because we really want the energy to move up and down the spine. Okay, so we'll bring our shoulders up, back, and down to kind of get the upper body in position, as if your shoulder blades are gently sliding back into your back pockets. And that opens up the front body, opens up the heart. Your feet are on the floor, or your knees are on the floor. Looks like Shirley's maybe in hero pose or whatever. Grounding through the buttocks and really contacting the earth. It's really, really essential to feel connected and anchored to the earth during our practice today. So if you're comfortable, I invite you to close your eyes. Hands are resting on your lap, palms up with a sense of receiving, or palms down if you feel like you need a sense of grounding today, your choice. So we'll just breathe in and out in a natural rhythm without trying to change anything. Bring our awareness into the body, into the breath. And in yoga, we breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. If that's not comfortable, feel free to breathe however you would like to. Deep, full breath in, inspiration. There's a sense of spirit, even in the spelling of that word. Spirit in, expiration, and spirit out. Next, I invite you to put one hand on your belly, one hand over your heart or your mid-chest, and we'll continue that breathing, kind of a three-part breath for relaxation. So the belly moves forward on the inspiration, breath comes up to the mid-chest, and all the way up to the upper chest if you can, without creating tension in your neck. And then we just reverse it on the expiration. So we'll do 4 or 5 of those. So being aware of the mechanical aspects of the breath. Rib cage expanding, ribs expanding, lungs expanding to take in more oxygen. And exhale, we reverse to get rid of that carbon dioxide we don't need anymore, which we share with our plants and our trees. And one more. Let's slide the hands around to the side for a breath or two and just appreciate the expansion of the ribs as we breathe in. Lateral breathing, really important. And now place your hands wherever you like, and now let's concentrate on the sound of the breath for the next 4 or 5 breaths. So when we breathe in and we breathe out, closing the throat, closing the glottis, it sounds like the ocean, or if you put a seashell to your ear. And I invite you to count for a second with no judgment. So see if you can have the same length of your inhalation as your exhalation. And now I invite you to add a breath to the exhalation. So the exhalation is a little bit longer than the inspiration, and that activates our parasympathetic nervous system, our calming system, our relaxation system. And one last thing, try a 5 and 5 or 5 and 6 if you can. No judgment if you can't. And then relax. I was taught that that 5 and 5 pattern is really important, and that's what really starts to activate this vagal nerve activation. And secondly, importantly, the length of the exhalation. So those two things. Okay, so now we're going to change position. You can either stay in your chair or we're going to stand for some moving asanas. I'm going to take a sip of water. Okay, can everybody see me all right?
Yes. Yes.
Or here's another option. If I just move this a little closer. Maybe that's better.
Yes.
What do you guys think? Is this better?
Yes.
Okay.
That's good.
Thank you. Okay, we'll just start with some gentle movements. And this is not a yoga asana. This is just a free fall, just free flow, just to kind of loosen up our hips, our knees, shoulders, our spine. We're all sitting too much, probably doing Zoom calls and whatever we're doing. I spent last week online looking at Social Security, and I've registered for Medicare. My gosh, I'll get Medicare in a couple of weeks. I had to do my yoga breathing to relax from that knowledge and that fact. Okay, you can lift your heel or not, and I like the idea of this flow, and I've talked about this before, that resiliency is a balance between stability and mobility. We need to be strong and stable, but we also need to flow. So this is like standing in a pool and moving your arms across the top of the water. It's almost kind of a Qigong thing. Okay, so let's step back onto the mat. Feet are hip distance apart or a comfortable distance. We're going to stand nice and tall. Once again, those shoulders are up, back, and down. And again, feel free to do this in your chair. Nice wide collarbones, heart is open, legs are strong. All four corners of the feet are into the earth as your anchor. And we're just going to start the inspiration, breathing in and breathing out. No big deal. We're going to try to integrate the breath and the movement. Breathing in and breathing out. One more time, breathing in. Maybe glance up if your neck allows. If not, doesn't matter. Okay, changing it up. Breathing in And we're going to interlock the fingers as we exhale, hands on top of the head, elbows move back, shoulders move away from the ears. Flip the palms up. Inhale, outer elbows press in and reach up. And exhale. If you can't go all the way, doesn't matter, not important. No judgment. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inspiration, bringing that spirit in. Exhale, spirit out. And one more. Inhale up. Exhale. Inhale up, stretching up. And exhale down. Okay, we're going to change things up just a little bit. Inhale up again, hands come into prayer, Anjala Mudra. And they're going to come to heart center as we bend the knees, drop our hips back into what we know as chair pose. Chair pose. Release the hands towards the earth, ground down. Inhale up. Again, we're moving to warm up the hips a little bit in the knees. Exhale, hands to heart center. Bend the knees. Reach down towards the floor. Inhale up, or not. And if you've had enough, you can just wait for us in mountain pose or whatever pose you want to be in. A couple more. Bend the knees, ground down to reach up. Roots and shoots. I always think of my dear friend Jane Goodall. Roots and shoots. Last time, grounding and lifting. And we'll stop with hands over heart center. Drop the chin into the lift of the heart. Check in with your breath. Is it smooth, stable, rich? And how do you feel now versus maybe 5 or 10 minutes ago? How's your breath? Where do you feel it? What's the sensation? Okay, let's release the arms down. We're going to take the right arm and reach up through that side body. And we're going to side bend to the left. So we stay grounded on that right side. You can reach through your fingertips down to your feet, or you can soften that elbow a little bit, whatever you prefer. Draw the belly in to support the spine as we inhale up, and we exhale down. And we sweep the opposite arm up. Inhale up, lengthen through the side body, rib cages lifts up a little bit, and we side bend to the right. Stable on the left side, reaching through the fingertips, or not. Navel support. Inhale up, and exhale down. Same thing, right arm up, side bend to the left. Inhale up, exhale, side bend to the right, last time. Navel to the spine. Inhale up. Exhale, hands back into heart center. And check in once again with your breath. How are you feeling? This is a good time to check in again with your gratitude word or phrase or item. And let's do the next few movements with this sense of gratitude that we have this body here today moving. Maybe some of us having pain, some of us having difficulty, whatever it is, but do what you can without judgment. And even if it's standing here in mountain pose. We're going to bring those arms up once again. Exhale, pull that sun energy down into the heart as we bend the knees. We're going to bring the chest over the thighs into a forward bend. So fingertips to the floor or the palms. Let the head go. Kind of move the head back and forth a little bit. Relax the jaw. Get a little traction on your neck. Draw the belly in firm as we reach out like wings all the way up. And exhale, hands back to heart center. Let's bend the knees again. This time we're going to bring the hands forward like in prayer. Sorry, not prayer, like in chair pose. Here's the traditional position. But if you're more comfortable with your hands forward, palms up, a little bit less pressure on your back, feel free, or hands on your chest or on your hips, whatever you want to do, your choice. Forward fold, chest to the thighs, lift the hips a little bit, fingertips or palms on the floor, look at your knees. And if you would like, grab your elbows, it's a little bit more pressure on your upper back. And let's sway just a little bit. Some days I like this, and some days it just feels like it's too much. So whatever you feel like today. Release the arms, reach out and up, grounding and lifting. Here we go again. Pull that sun energy down into the heart, bend the knees, hips into the space behind you, forward fold. Last time, good. This time, slide your hands up your shin, lengthen your spine out like an L, or hands on the thighs, shoulder blades squeeze together like a nice L, or it's a standing Dadasana, if you will. Release the hands forward, bend the knees softly. Last time, sweep the arms out and up. Good. Gather all that spirit and exhale. Let's put it right here in the heart. Drop the chin into the lift of the heart. Check in again with your breath. What's your sensation? Where is the breath? And how are you feeling? Okay, we're going to move down to the floor. I'm going to go ahead and just do a regular asana, vinyasa into that position. But if you want to just bend your knees and get into all fours position, your choice. And forward fold. Good. I'm going to step back and come into all fours. So this is called cat-cow. And your knees, I think I'll put my hair back. Your knees are underneath your hips. And wrists are slightly forward of the shoulders. Nice wide fingers. Nice wide fingers. It's very important. Take the pressure off your wrists. If you have any wrist issues, go ahead and take your towel. I'm going to lift it up so you can see better. Take your towel, put your palm on the towel, and your fingertips are on the floor. And this way it'll take some pressure off your wrists. If you don't have a towel, just roll up your yoga mat and do the same thing. Palm is on the mat, fingertips are on the floor or on the carpet. So we'll do the traditional cat-cow. So we're going to go ahead and let the belly sag, which we rarely say in yoga. I think I'll turn to the side so you can see me better. So let the belly sag a little bit. Pull that heart forward. Collarbones are wide. Heart comes forward as we breathe in. Exhale, navel to the spine. Arch the back up like a Halloween cat. Tailbone is under. Let that head dangle. And let's do some of these at our own time, integrating the breath with movement. Breathing in and exhale. Breathing out, pressing into the floor, opening up the upper back. And again, inhale. Bring in that sense of spirit. And exhale, befriending that breath. And again. And exhale. Staying in this position, I love this one. It's called bear. I think it's called bear, and it's from the Tibetan yoga practices. and they do things a little more freeform. It's called bear because this is like, you kind of bend your elbows, move your hips. It's like a bear going up to a tree and scratching its back. Go ahead and do a couple of bear movements. Forward and back, side to side. I love this. It really kind of gets the kinks out. And then we'll come back to tabletop again. And I'd like you to put your big toes together, shift your hips back just halfway, kind of claw, not claw, but grip your fingertips into the mat as you feel a nice stretch along the side body and the shoulders as we're halfway back into resting pose. Come on forward again into tabletop. And again, we're going to shift back 3/4 of the way this time. Chest to the thighs, buttocks to the heels. Another nice long stretch. Release the neck, looking down. Breathing. Maybe breathing in those armpits. Shifting forward. Last time, we're going to go all the way back into child's or resting pose. Chest to the thighs, heels to the buttocks. Now, if you have some issues with your knees or your back, feel free to take your towel. Put the towel behind your knees. And again, it keeps you out of that fully flexed position. Or you can put your towel in front, rest your forehead. On your towel or your block. Or if you have the big fancy wedge, you can almost just kind of hug it. Because we're going to stay in this position just for about 2 minutes or so. This is called a restorative pose. Or maybe some would call it yin yoga. It's a little bit different, but in this particular one, it's close enough to yin yoga. We can call it that. The mind starts to wander. Bring the attention back to the breath. Befriend your breath. And what's the sensation of the breath in this position? Feeling the expansion of the ribs, mostly to the side, probably. And it's easy to hear the sound of the breath in this position. Bringing spirit in, allowing old spirit to leave. We'll do about another 30 seconds or so, but whenever you're ready, you come out. Okay, come on and slowly come on out. And then of course, if you're sitting in the chair, you can always just push your chair back from your desk and rest your forehead. We probably all know that from work, right? That 1:30 or 2 o'clock after lunch, we need to just take that little cat nap. Same thing. Okay, next position is going to be for extension, because what we just did was for flexion or forward bend. So I'm going to demonstrate 3 different ways. And again, easiest way is if you have a bolster or a wedge, and it looks like this. You just put the wedge behind you and lie in this position over the wedge. Probably hard for you all to see.
Yeah.
Can you see that?
Much better.
Yeah. So wedge is behind me, lying on my back. Arms are out to the side in a T or not. By my side, or on my belly, my body. Knees can be straight or bent. Let the knees knock together, which we rarely do in yoga. But in this position, because it's passive, it's very comfortable and safe for your spine. Okay, so most of us don't have a wedge like that. Next option is your blocks. So the back block is vertical, and that's for your head. The second block is horizontal, and that's for the thoracic spine, your mid-back. And it goes pretty much where the bra line would be. So kind of hold on to that lower block as you lie down so you don't knock them over. And it takes a minute to figure all this out. There we go. And head is on the block. Kind of squirm around a little bit. Find your position of comfort. Arms extended or not, legs extended or not. Some people like to do bound Konasana. I don't like that, it hurts my hip. So you find what works for you. And last but not least, it's a very, very good solution for thoracic spine extension is to take your towel, roll it up, and again, it goes right under the shoulder blades where the bra line would be, kind of T7, T8, if any of you anatomy nerds out there like I am. And your arms are right above that roll. And now you're lying with this thoracic extension. And the idea is that you'll feel like your heart is coming forward. Heart openers, we call this a heart opener. Thoracic spine extension. Now I'm going to come up so you can hear me. I'm just going to talk a little bit more and then I'm going to be quiet so you can relax. This is very good for postural problems, neck problems, shoulder problems from poor posture. It's excellent for osteoporosis, osteopenia. Can even help people with rotator cuff problems. So, passive extension. Check in with your gratitude. Maybe you feel your heart open just a little bit when you think about gratitude. That happens to me a lot. I'm not sure if that's what's supposed to happen, but that does happen to me a lot. Whatever that means, supposed to happen. Mind stays focused on the breath, gratitude. Yoga is a combination of effort and ease. And in this day and age, we sometimes forget and think it's all about power yoga. It's not. It's not at all. Okay, when you're ready, be a little careful. You can hold your head and kind of sit up straight. You can sort of gently move over to the side, support, holding your neck and turning over to your side, but it's a little awkward to get up, but just be a little careful. Take a breath or two before you sit straight up. Okay, we're going to do one more restorative pose. It's called legs on the wall. And this is a really powerful, powerful position. The three positions that we've just done all help to stabilize the nervous system. It makes incredible changes in your brain. It helps to get rid of all those the sort of negative neuron connections, if you will, and build new neural connections. It affects your dopamine, which is a neurotransmitter. They help they help to strengthen your immune system, okay, which of course we all need, especially now. And legs on the wall is easy because it's totally passive and it's gravity. Gravity is affecting the receptors in your carotid arteries and helps to reset your blood pressure. So watch me for a moment. It's rather easy if you follow my directions. Otherwise it can seem sort of tricky, but it really isn't. You can use a towel or not. I think I will. Sometimes you use a block, but if this is the first time you're doing it, I would not use a block. So your towel is going to go at the bottom of a wall, and then you're going to kind of be in a fetal position next to the wall. So your feet and your butt are pretty close to the wall. And then all you're going to do is roll up. Fiddle around a little bit, find your position of comfort, and then find your arm position. Maybe lift your chest a little bit to tuck the shoulder blades under. Legs can be wide or straight up, doesn't matter. And once again, we'll focus on the breath, focus on our gratitude. So I'm going to come up, and when we get out of this position, again, side position, fetal position, just for a moment, breath or two, and I'm going to come up so I can have a look at the screen and see if everybody's A-okay. If you prefer to do just Shavasana, that's fine.
Whoa.
Whoa. Uh-oh. Well, the reason I was sort of adamant about that position is because it's very hard to scoot forward on your yoga mat. You know, it's to prevent slipping. So if you're too far away from the mat, it's almost impossible to get your buttocks up to the wall. So Shirley, I might recommend starting over, get a little closer to the wall in your fetal position. Yeah, you know, just a few feet away. Now when you roll up, you'll just be right there.
Yes.
Oh, isn't that better?
Yes.
There you go. So again, fiddle around a little bit. Think about lifting your heart up a little bit, squeeze your shoulder blades a little bit so you can, you know, have a little bit of that thoracic extension. And then, yeah, comfortable position for your arms. I like to think of the elbow creases turning up, because what happens then is that your shoulders naturally release back down and open. Sometimes if we use the palms, it's just the hands, but it's really the whole shoulder girdle that's opening up. I'm going to stop talking for a minute or two and let you stay in this position for about 2 minutes. Please come out of it if you need to for whatever reason. Tuning into the breath. Checking in with your sense of gratitude. Okay. Now very slowly slide your feet down the wall and turn over on one side in that fetal position. Take a couple of breaths. You never want to jump up because our blood pressure is low, which is part of the purpose. And it'll keep us from getting a little dizzy. So when you're ready, we're going to finish in Shavasana. So you can have your legs out totally straight. Some of you, Kathy, might want to have a small pillow roll underneath your knees. Maybe you want a pillow underneath your head, just a little bit. You may want to lie on your back and put your feet up on a couch or a chair. Shavasana is frequently, in today's yoga practices, bypassed because we'd rather do another vinyasa than to spend the time finishing up in Shavasana, which is our rest pose. Going back to the early texts, yoga texts, Shavasana was always included. Because this is when sort of all the juiciness, if you will, of the practice, the movements, the breath, the intentions, the gratitude all comes together and impacts the nervous system. The limbic system in the brain lights up. The other areas in your brain associated with calm and peace and stability and resilience, they all light up. Your blood pressure has lowered, your heart rate has lowered, your cortisol levels are lower, glucose frequently lower, your respiratory rate lower. And those movements that you did kind of get imprinted in your brain. We'll stay for one more minute. Okay, start to flutter your eyes open. Bring your breath to the surface and gently wiggle your toes and your fingers, bringing back sensations to all of your body parts. And when you're ready, you can turn over to either side, whatever is your position of comfort. And take a few breaths. And when you're ready, push up to sit and find a comfortable sitting position. hands in prayer, or heart center. And I extend my sincere gratitude to each and every one of you for being here today. And have a safe holiday season. Sometimes I get emotional after our classes together. It's okay. It's wonderful, actually. It just means it taps into heart center. So stay safe, everyone. Stay well. And Om Shanti. Peace.
Namaste. Thank you.